about 90 minutes. So let's make it good. Thank you. Kindly be seated. Namaskaram to all. A very warm good morning to all. As we commence this ceremony to mark a very historic moment in the brief yet eventful journey of Chanakya University, may we commence with a rendition of the Chanakya anthem. Request all to rise. Thank you. Kindly be seated. To mark the commencement, may I request the Honorable Founder Chancellor, Professor M.K. Sridhar sir, and also the guest of the day, Chancellor, Sri Dr. R. Somnath sir, to kindly come up to the stage, requesting the Registrar, Professor Sushant Joshi, to escort the Chief Guest. Professor Yashwant Dongre, a teacher, academician, administrator, the research head of the International Cooperative Alliance, Asia Pacific region, and the founding Vice Chancellor of Chanakya University. May I request you, sir, to kindly welcome the Assembly.
Ellarigu namaskara. Very good morning and welcome to yet another happy day at Chanakya. As all of you know, I'm sure you all have received a mail from Professor Sridhar a couple of days ago about the change that is happening. And today, Dr. Somnath has assumed office as the Chancellor of Chanakya University. Please welcome him with a big applause. As institutions evolve and grow, the roles and responsibilities keep changing, and the way an institution will have to expand and diversify also will change. Therefore, it's only natural that changes will happen both structurally as well as in terms of the leadership. Chanakya University, having completed 3 years, is now at a stage where the university will expand, diversify, and position itself to the world as a true global university. In this pursuit, Chanakya University has started a process of structural changes, which is essentially reconstitution of different bodies as well as constitution of some of the bodies which were not in place earlier. The Board of Management, which is the body for the operational aspects of Chanakya University, has already been reconstituted, and the new Board of Management is currently functioning. We recently constituted the court. In fact, Chanakya University is the only private university here in Karnataka that has a court, which is a multi-stakeholder body, has been now constituted, already notified, and Dr. Radhakrishnan, former Chairman of ISRO, chairs this court, and the court will soon meet. We have also reconstituted the Board of Governors after completion of the 3 years, and the new Board of Governors, the first meeting of which will be held on the 18th, also which will be chaired by Dr. Somnath, the new Chancellor, includes, apart from Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, Pro-Vice-Chancellor as ex officio members, it includes Professor M.K. Sridhar, who would now continue to be part of Chanakya and will be in the Board of Governors in his capacity as the President of the sponsoring body. It will also have Shri Chris Gopal Krishnan, the Chairman of Chancellor Ventures and the co-founder of Infosys, Shri T.V. Mohandas Pai, Chairman of Aryan Capital Partners, Professor B. Mahadevan, former Professor of Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, Professor Nandini, former Professor of Bangalore University, Shri Nagaraj Reddy, the Chief Operating Officer of Chanakya University, Dr. Shamika Ravi, a noted economist and member of the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council, will come in as a nominee of the UGC We'll also have the Principal Secretary of Higher Education of Government of Karnataka as ex officio member, and there would also be a nominee of the state government in the Board of Governors. So this new board will start functioning with a first meeting on the 18th of this month. So these are a few changes that have been happening in terms of the reconstitution of our bodies. As part of this whole process, there is also this change in the leadership of Chanakya University. Of course, Professor Sridhar will continue to remain part of Chanakya University, and a lot of things which he has been doing all these years, especially in terms of the academic advising and academic innovation, he will continue to do that. We are very happy to welcome Dr. Somnath as the Chancellor of Chanakya University. It's our good fortune that he has agreed to be part of Chanakya, and upon assuming office, he made a short but a very precise presentation to us about what he would be bringing or what he intends to bring in as Chancellor of Chanakya University, and he is going to address all of you. Professor Sridhar will be talking both about Dr. Somnath as well as about how Chanakya intends to pursue the path of excellence in the future. Therefore, I am not going into the details. I take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Somnath in particular, and welcome all of you to this short but very, very important gathering. So we all join together in cherishing this particular moment, and also assuring Dr. Somnath that all of us will support and continue to be guided by his ideas, and make sure that his idea, his dream of what Chanakya should be would be realized moving forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. A teacher, a mentor, a guide, and forever an inspiration. It's an honor to request and invite the founder, Chancellor of Chanakya University, Professor M.K. Sridhar, sir, to kindly address the audience.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. The newly assumed, along with the satellite, somebody has to really make the satellite to fly. Dr. Somnath, Pro Vice Chancellor Mr. Kumar, Vice Chancellor Professor Yashwant Dongre, Pro Vice Chancellor Professor Subramania, Mr. Nagaraj Reddy, and all my fellow travelers of the journey of Chanakya University. I don't call you either as faculty or as students, as staff. All of us are fellow travelers of Chanakya University. Friends, I take this first moment to congratulate and welcome Dr. Somanath into the portals of Chanakya University as well as to the journey of Chanakya University. In fact, I was just thinking, our first International Advisory Council was headed by a former chairman of ISRO, Dr. Kasturi Rangan. And then the court is headed by former chairman, Dr. Radhakrishnan. And now the Chancellor happens to be Dr. Somanath. Why there is so much of connect between Chanakya University and the space? I think we are going to fly very high in the days to come, in the years to come. Friends, I would like to say few things on this occasion. First of all, Chanakya University was started with a purpose. And any purpose can be achieved not just by having the purpose, but clarity of purpose and the direction of the purpose. And in order to achieve that purpose, you must have a culture, a value system, and various other things. So from the beginning, at Chanakya University, we have been following this culture and value system. And therefore, we thought of a very credible and meaningful governance mechanism, transparent, credible governance mechanism. Generally, most of the universities, either they bring Chancellor as the figurehead or their own person. But what we thought in Chanakya, for being a different thing, we will request eminent person from society to take over and guide us as Chancellor. As part of that thinking, today we have Dr. Somanath assuming charge as the Chancellor of Chanakya University. The sponsoring body, Center for Educational and Social Studies, in consultation with all others, found it very appropriate to have Dr. Somanath as our next Chancellor. And let me also tell you, the culture that we have built, the value system that we have built will go a long way and in achieving our purpose of Chanakya University. Let me only take these basic two principles, that collective philanthropy and collective governance, collective planning, collective working, collective enjoying, and collective suffering. All these have to be together, and that is the spirit of Chanakya University. So friends, I take this opportunity to wish Dr. Somanath all the best, and all of us in the journey of Chanakya University. Let me take a few moments to introduce Dr. Somanath. I am very, very happy to introduce Dr. Sridhara Panikkar Somanath. Was born in July 1963 at a place called Turuvaru, Cherthala, Kerala. And he has a career spanning 40 years, and he is an expert in the field of space technology and systems engineering of launch vehicles, and has made significant contribution in many areas. As Secretary of Department of Space, he piloted the National Space Policy. Some of the major accomplishments of Dr. Somanath: Chandrayaan-3, landing near the south pole of the moon, various missions, development of small satellite launch vehicle, and accomplishment of landing experiments of reusable launch vehicle. As far as his education is concerned, is a bachelor's in mechanical engineering from TKM College of Engineering, Kollam, Masters in Aerospace Engineering from Indian Institute of Science, and his doctoral PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. And he is also a fellow of National Academy of Engineering, Indian National Academy of Science, and many, many awards to his credit. Platinum Award, Platinum Jubilee Award, and Distinguished Alumni of Indian Institute of Science, none other than Indian Institute of Science, and also Distinguished Fellow Award from IIT Kanpur and Rajyotsava Award. I have only picked a very, very few things from his profile. More than anything else, he is person who has worked in ISRO. Lot of dreaming has to happen. You have to dream the next stage, the next stage. And having associated with the people from ISRO, the kind of organization ISRO has been built is something remarkable in the history of our country. The kind of organization, the kind of work that they have done is very, very remarkable. And a person who headed such an organization will be our Chancellor. It is our privilege and pleasure. Welcome, Sri Somanath.
Thank you, sir, for so beautifully setting the perspective and helping us understanding, rooted in ideals and ascending with ideas. Now, it's an honor to invite Dr. S. Somnath, sir, the Chancellor of Chanakya University, to address. But before that, although sir introduced Dr. Somnath, sir, we are pleased to present a short audio-visual to present a profile of Dr. S. Somnath, sir. The audio-visual, please. Without any delay, may I now request Honorable Chancellor Sri Somnath, sir, to address.
Good morning, all of you. My greetings to you on this wonderful day. And before I begin, let me place on record my sincere appreciation and gratitude to the sponsoring body, the Center for Educational and Social Studies, who has nominated me to be the Chancellor of this university. Thank you so much. And also would like to thank the founding Chancellor, Professor Sita, the founding Pro-Chancellor, Professor M.P. Kumarji, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, and deans, divisional heads or institutional heads of various domains in this university, and all those who have dreamt to build this university, who are present and not present, the Board of Governors, the members of the Board of Governors who have been such a force behind the creation of this university, the International Advisory Board, the court and its chairman. I would like to place on record my sincere appreciation and gratitude to make me as a part of this journey of this university. So let me once again thank each one of you and seek your blessings and best wishes for the journey forward. I was fortunate to be there during the inauguration of this university and has an opportunity to come to know about its intent, the purpose for which this university has been created. At least in conceptualization, I think we are very, very clear. The clarity of thought is already very much evident. And also the steps taken to make that vision into reality is also well stated and well elaborated in many of the output that the university has been generally giving out in terms of our communication. For example, the three elements that the university stands for: the abundance of wisdom, jnana, the indomitable will, the ichha, and the meaningful action, the kriya. I think these three things defines the purpose of this university. Let me also tell you that a university, when it is established in one location, the purpose of the university is to transform the society where the university is existing. For all those people who come into contact with this university should get really transformed in whatever way that you can. And that is defined by the purpose of the university. Chanakya University is not going to be yet another out-of-the-mill university. I think this is very, very clear to all of us. And that's why there are a lot of people getting associated with this university. You can see it from the constitution of the Board of Governors and also from the constitution of the International Advisory Body, as well as other forums that the university has created. The people, it matters. I think that is what is making this university really something very unique. And also the ideals that the university stands for, the people who have actually conceived this university, created this university, has certain ideals defined in the beginning. That this university should produce leaders, not just students that you get graduated. They should be able to interact with the society in a manner that it will be transformative. They should give out as something that is special the university provides for. And that we need to look at it and we need to create it on a continuous basis. And this university is very, very young. It's only 3 years into its existence. I'm sure, no, it's only 3 years, really. So, a university which is just 3 years has already made its mark. I think that is something wonderful. In creating departments, laboratories, attracting students to fill up the university, admission rolls, and also graduates already started coming out of this. And we were able to bring in faculties who are renowned faculty to come to this university and then become part of this journey. Up to this, it is really wonderful. What exactly you want to do in the future is something that we need to define. And the university is not just meant for next 10 years, not for 20 years, it's not for 50 years, it is meant for hundreds of years. I think let us look at like that. And in hundreds of years, the existence of the university, what it need to be told about. Should we become a Nalanda Takshashila? Maybe. No, when you talk about this, possibly we don't really understand what exactly meant by that. It was a university once existing, not in the concept of the universities of the present. I think many of you may be knowing. A university of that time, Nalanda Takshashila, may not never be a university which is governed by a board of governors of this nature, an act of a state of this nature. Right? Definitely it is not. But it is defined by the vision of some people, I think, that moment in time, who were the learned people who have a hope of building a next generation, of transferring knowledge, for accumulating knowledge and reserving it there for the posterity. And that's why there was a time when people were traveling all across the world and coming over to this nation, this country, to learn, to understand mathematics, philosophy, natural sciences, and go back and then create what they wanted to create in their own places. It was more sought after for centuries, not just for few years. Of course, today that university is only in our minds. It is in concept, it is in history, it is in ruins. And many of those that it produced is not visible. And that is the fate of history. And that's the fate of history that we create, what we create as big things, ultimately can wither away, can die. But its resonances may remain. I think the resonances are still there with us. That's why we are able to dig out and then talk about that university today. Should we become one like that? Not to wither away, to vanish into thin air with the change of times, but also to remain something that we will all remember about the creation and about the impact that created in building leadership over years. And the people came out of this university should stand as testimony to the purpose of this university later. I think that is going to define it. It's not by the walls of this university, the building of the university, or the hall of this university, or the labs of the university. It doesn't really matter. What matters are the people that we are going to come out of this university. And they will have to speak about this university many years later, when they become great entrepreneurs, the great leaders, sometimes people who create new ideals, thinking, societal changes. I think all of this can happen from a university. One of the important things which I know I represent is technology, because I have been working in this domain for so many years, in space technology. I think all of you know science, engineering, technology, it all get merged into domains like space. And it is very fortunate that space people are associated with Chanakya University in their many positions. For example, Dr. Kasturirangan and Dr. Radhakrishnan are more my mentors. And it's really an honor to be part of that association from space. I still remember I was a young engineer under the tutelage of Kasturirangan. He has guided me and helped me to take up positions. And Dr. Radhakrishnan has been my true mentor, who actually made me to take up projects responsibility like building the rocket and taking directorship of centers and ultimately leading to become the Secretary of Department of Space. And so I thank them for their ability to handhold and help people grow. I think this is something that we have been doing in the organization to help people grow, to show them the way, to give people who have the potential of leadership, to help them to find their talent, to put it at the place where they will be able to excel and do something really wonderful. I think that I indebted to them. And this is precisely something that a university also should do. The professors, teachers, mentors here should do. Identify those people who are joining in this university, help them to take up responsibilities, positions, and leadership where they will be able to deliver later when they are getting an opportunity. Preparing people for the future is something really wonderful. And that is what a university is meant for. And I believe to do this, I think we need many, many things in a university. First and foremost is the academic definition of what exactly you want to do, the curriculum definition, the courses, the way in which you structure, the way in which you conduct that examinations of retaining certain level of standards in the university. You can always conduct a university with different levels of standards, and it is something that is to be defined internally. I think that autonomy that we have. So we need to have the definition of it, what exactly the type of rigor that you want to build into the university. I think this must be defined, discussed in a course of time, and I believe it's something which I will be a part of this journey and decision processes which I eagerly look for. And it should also become contemporary. What the society needs at this point in time is something the university should define for. The courses, I still remember when I was an engineering student way back in 1980s. I was reasonably considered as a person who can influence teams. So my head of the department, which in my final years told me that, do you think the course that you have undergone is contemporary? I said, no, sir. What I just learned that mechanical engineering course is out of its times. It is something irrelevant things we are studying. I think it should be totally rewritten. In fact, in my final year as a student, I rewrote my entire the mechanical engineering course should be restructured, and I submitted to my head of the department in my final year, and he said that you must send it to the university to restructure it. I believe students of that type we need in this university, who should be able to define what syllabus that you should study. So for that, you need to open your eyes to see what is happening around the world. The syllabus that you want to study is not something somebody up there will dictate to you and then tell you, yeah, you study this. I think the times have changed. The NEP has brought in such a revolution now in front of you, that you have a freedom to choose what you want to study, what you want to excel. How do you really find the call within you to see what you need to be prepared for it? And many times there is an issue with this freedom, that you will think that you understand everything, and you do not really do sufficient search to find out your inner call, and then it can get into problem. In such times, you need mentors, people who will have a little more exposure to the world to help you to understand what your strengths are. That's why you are in the company of people who are your peers, your teachers, or mentors, who will help you to either to seek what exactly you have in store for the future. Many a times you will never be able to find out for yourself. And this is one problem which is facing young people at this moment. I think we need to help that. The university should help them. And this is possible only by engaging students in various activities in the university. It could be academic activity, it will be co-curricular activity, it could be sports, it could be leadership in various functions, organizing, debating. I think when you do those type of things, you really see, I have something beyond that I ever thought. It could be artistic, it could be literary, it could be leadership. I think a university is to prepare people for a holistic development. I think this is very, very clear in the building of, or the concept of the university, holistic development of individuals. So when you go through this university in your life, which is a precious time in your time, especially for students who, when you spend here, those precious periods must be your character building period. Not just the course that you undergo, the degree that you get, beyond that you become something useful to the society, not something become a danger to the society. You should become a constructive component of the society, not somebody who will only worry about yourself. Somebody who will worry about the people around you. I think this is what is needed. For this, we need to talk about many subjects. For example, the subjects that we talk about, science or engineering, we must be second to none. The word that we use in ISRO is regularly that we shall be second to none. And I think it's true for a university as well. We shall be second to none in terms of the course content, relevance for the times. But also we cannot forget about some of those traditions on which that we have been built. I talked about Nalanda. But equally important is the cultural roots of this nation. And these cultural roots are to be embedded into our educational system. And how do you really do that? Is it by reading and studying all those old literary works? Many a times people ask me this fundamental question. For example, you look at sciences like Ayurveda. I don't know, there is no Ayurveda course in this university at this moment. Possibly this is not a medical university, and there is no guarantee that it will not grow into a medical university also in the later future. But you look at Ayurveda and look at allopathy, and people say Ayurveda is not a science, and they say allopathy is a science. Of course it is, because the definition of science today is that evidence-based system. Whereas for Ayurveda, the evidence base is not visible, but it's more of experiential. Those who are practicing Ayurveda, their proof of the medicine or treatment process is more experiential rather than evaluated using rules that are governing the modern medicine. And when you look at a topic of that nature, many a times there are criticisms coming in front of you. So these are not real sciences, these are pseudosciences. And in such cases, we need to discuss that. Are we comparing on the same basis on these two sciences, these two approaches? I think this question comes to all of our mind. And what is the real answer for such a question? It is only to look at it from the modern perspective of those ancient knowledges. And then how do you really convince ourselves that it is still scientific? And this requires research, and there is no other way. Once you start believing something is going to work for somebody, there is no guarantee that it will work today, because times have changed, the chemical composition of the biological systems are changing. It is changing over a period of time unless you, and of course the environment is changing. The impact of environment on biological systems are very significant. And unless you conduct systematic study and research on this topic, our knowledge on this is not going to improve. So I am just giving an example of one domain where there is a traditional knowledge, traditional skill, but a modern complementary part is necessary. And this is something that present universities must do while we talk about our ancient knowledge. And this can spread across many, many domains. It can spread across the way in which that we look at the impact of yoga on health, for example. This is also a topic that would need to be researched. Everybody knows that by practice, there is a significant improvement in physiology by the process of yoga. When you do a systematic study on it, possibly now you can bring out a research paper on the impact of it. And this can get extended to many, many domains. While we work on domains like artificial intelligence, quantum technologies, optoelectronic systems, and new knowledges that are being developed very fast across like robotics, automation, and equally important are the challenges that comes to the various other domains like the literature, music, dance, which is being overtaken by technology at this moment. Other day I was looking at a artwork design, for example, painting, for example. Today painting are not done by the conventional painters, that you take paint and you canvas. Today the designs are happening in a manner that the electronics has gone into so much. They are able to do a digital painting, digital reproduction of paintings in large numbers with a quality and longevity which is far superior to many others. Do we need to conduct research in this domain as well? You need to look at music, for example, the music technology. While we talk about traditional musics and its research and its impact, there is equally technology-linked music industry is also growing. So we need to study the impact of music in traditional way. We should also study its usability, modulation, changes, business, etc. By injecting technology into it also. So what I want to tell you that this university can look at every domain in a manner which is scientific, but still rooted in our ancient knowledges. So this is yet another important domain that we would like to focus in this university. And equally important is our connect with the society. I said that research is important, technology is important, but unless people know what exactly are the potential of all of this, what you do here, unless you connect you with what is happening outside, you will never be able to do a good work in the university. And this connect comes out of various things. For example, the faculty must get connected to industries, research laboratories, and many other academic institutions across the world. I believe the faculty is well equipped to do that. They have been experienced in doing that. But equally important is to know that students should go to these locations, societies, and then find out what exactly are the real problems that are faced by the society. For example, in the domain like space, when I am coming, we have a startup ecosystem today. I think possibly you know that in the last 2-3 years, there has been great surge in the creation of startups in space. A lot of people have come up and then started startups in space applications. And if you look around, I am seeing problems only. Using space, you can solve hundreds of problems. And number of startups that are coming up in space sector using this capability are very, very less. Now, I have been asking people, why don't you find out some problem? For example, I'll give you one example, then you will understand. ISRO has been giving out information on fish availability in sea using lat launch information, using satellite data. Using satellite, you can look at sea, find out its surface temperature. You can find out whether there is an algae present there. You can see whether the sea is very rough or not rough, the sea state we call it. You also measure the wind velocity on the surface of the wind. And if you combine all of this, you can get an intelligence. Yeah, this is a location where fish is most possible. And you have been giving out this information. But it is not commercially being utilized. This information comes on website. And in fact, I started asking some startup companies, why don't you use this data, create a portal, market it to fishermen and boat owners, and then and if they are able to make better catch on that day, take some return out of that catch and make a business case for you. If you look around, you will find hundreds of such cases just for the domain which I am coming from, the space. But you look at the domains like many others. For example, you work with natural sciences, art, literature, management, law. I think all of this area you will find so much opportunity. Why I'm telling is you should be able to go out to the society, find out and pick problems and find out solutions for it. I think this is what is needed at this moment. And this requires possibility of going internships, exposure, field work, etc., which is very, very important. We should also connect with industries. One of the challenge that we are facing in this country today is the connect between industry and academic institutions are very, very weak. The work done in academic institutions are not translatable into economic value and products in the industry. This is a serious problem. If you look at the West, you find that the connect is much, much stronger. The faculties there are talking to business people. They are looking at the problems that the business faces and the engineering problems they face, the scientific problem they faces. Let it be medicine, chemical synthesis, industry, or even software. And they are able to identify some solutions within the academics, and that converts itself into value addition in the industry. And this is not happening in India in a scale which is needed for the nation. The moment it happens, I think the connect between academia and industry will substantially improve. Industry will be happy to invest in academic institutions to support the research, and there will be a give and take which will happen that will be between the academic institutions and industry. And this is something that we need to happen in the next 20 years or so in our country. And this only can really scale up the scale of economy, growth that the nation is talking about. From today, now we are in the 4th position. If you really want to become 3rd, 2nd, and 1st at some day, only through this, by creating academic-based research feeding into the economic activity of the industry. I think there is no other way. The value creation is only happening there. I think this is again the goal of, should become the goal of this university. And how will it really happen? We need to identify at least few example cases in this university where this connect can really be created. It's not possible everywhere. I know that there is a need of creation of knowledge, as you need of creation of expertise. Every domain cannot be converted into business opportunity, but at least some key domain areas where you are able to do this, it should be done. I think this should be another focus of this university. I believe there is one of the important things that we need to have in a university is high quality students. While we work on a university, the type of quality of, the faculty may be good, the vision of the university may be good, but unless you are able to attract good students to this university, the output of the university could also may not be great at a long term. Today, I was telling the leadership of this university that whoever comes to this university, it doesn't matter who they are, but when they go out, they should become the best student that goes out of any university. I think that is a commitment this university can make. But over a period of time, it should become a place where the youth of India will seek to come and to be there, part of this. And they should feel proud of being here. I think this is a goal that we need to do. And what exactly we need to do for that? I think each one of you become ambassador of that. To become a sought after university comes out of the alumni of this university. No, nothing else. So once they do go out and excel in their domain, when they do fantastic things in the domain, you see leadership out of this university in various spheres. I think people look at us and then see that there is a possibility that if you go to this university, you are likely to get transformed. I think this is something that need to happen over a period of time, and I'm very sure with the type of leadership and with the type of the intent that is the university is standing for, with the advice and support of the various people, this transformation will definitely happen. I'm also equally aware about the infrastructural growth that is planned for this university. I think a huge amount of investment has already happened in this university in terms of the building, facilities, support for students, etc., etc. And there is still a lot to be done. I think this growth will happen. Possibly this university will expand further beyond this walls that has been created here. It will have further institutions across the state as per the statute of this university. I am very sure in the days to come, such things are also going to happen. And I am very happy that at this moment, when we speak to you at this moment, I am with great expectation, hope, and excitement I stand here. And the potential of growth is something exciting all of us. And thank you so much for the support that you are likely to give me. And I'm very sure there is no doubt on that, but then still I seek it personally from each one of you because of the part that I may not be a regular here, because a chancellor is not supposed to be an administrative head. Chancellor is not supposed to be not supposed to be an administrative head, but not a figurehead even. I don't want to be a figurehead. I want to be an active person getting involved in the university functions, and that's the only commitment that I can give to you at this moment. And thank you so much once again for this opportunity given to me to be part of your journey, part of building this university, and each one of you who are present here and not present here, part of this growth, deserves congratulations, and I seek personally your support and help to contribute in whatever way that I can towards the growth of this university, and wish all the very best to you. A great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Once I was fortunate to be a witness of an interaction of Somnath sir with school children. What was scheduled to be for about 60 minutes went on for 120 minutes, and it was going on. That day, I personally learned a lot about science, technology, and space, but what I learned was how to be a teacher. With all that humility, it's an extraordinary experience just to listen and see how Somnath sir interacts with children. As teachers, I think there's a lot that we can learn. So thank you for that. As a person who has elevated every office is held and enriched every position he's handled, sir, on behalf of our team at Chanakya, I'm happy to assure you that we shall strive to rise to the best of our abilities to the next orbit of excellence that we can offer to you. Thank you so much for such an inspiring notes and also giving us a picture of the future of the world. As we come to the end of this ceremony, I am glad to conventionally end and thank the people responsible for this. First and foremost, thank you, Sir Chancellor, Dr. S. Somnath sir, for accepting our invitation and accepting this responsibility and being here to give us an idea as to what to expect in this journey of Chanakya University. We thank you very much, sir. Thanks are due to the sponsoring body of Chanakya University Center for Education Social Studies and the President, Professor M.K. Sridhar sir, our inspiration for facilitating such a historic milestone and induction into Chanakya University. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks are due to our guides, the Pro-Chancellor M.P. Kumar sir, our critical guide, Professor Shri M.P. Kumar sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor Yashwant Dongre sir, the Pro-Chancellor Professor Subramania sir, the Chief Operating Officer Shri Nagaraj Reddy sir, and the Registrar Professor Joshi. Thanks to all of you for being there to support and encourage in all our endeavor. Thank you, sirs. Thanks are due to my colleagues in the divisions of academics, administration, facilities, and supporting staff for being such a wonderful community of learners. I thank each one of you, the teaching, non-teaching facilities, heads, directors, and my colleagues. Thank you so much. I thank the press and media for being a support and also highlighting what is the best that we are offering to the world. I thank the press and media on our behalf. Finally, never the least, I thank the students, the reason for us to be, for being so supportive and for being encouraging and for being a part of all our learning experiments and getting along. Thanks, students, for being here and making this event something to remember. I thank all people who supported this beautiful ceremony of induction of the new Honorable Chancellor of Chanakya University. I thank you all. Coming to an end with the national anthem, requesting all to rise. The national anthem, please. Dhanyavad Namaskaram. Request assembly to be kindly seated until the dignitaries exit. Thank you all, you've been wonderful. Sorry to say that it was a 90-minute event. It was not. Thank you. Good day.